to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
Oh man, I'm just glad we're back to a regular schedule again for us.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, weird year, all the schedule changes. 2022's been very odd to like everybody so far.
Mm-hmm.
So as I announced on the Twitter page this morning, which you should still go follow, by the way, we're still like, we need to grow and we're not even at 100 yet. So please, JJ Jackets Pod, go sauce us a follow if you haven't.
Yeah.
I said it this morning that we're going to have some good, we're going to have some bad, we're going to have some ugly.
Yeah,
with
I
a
saw
little
that.
bit of a preview on the show today. So let's start with some good, with a little bit of Kepis.
Depends on
Who they go to.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Well, yeah, because you went first last time. So I'll give mine to the hometown boy. I'll give it to Sean Kirill. He played well in the Ottawa game.
He's the
I
one
know
who
we
scored.
lost. Yeah, I know we lost, but I didn't think they played bad. I thought it was a good game. I thought they played pretty well, but they struggled. Forsberg had a good game. A little bit of a revenge.
Yeah, old flame.
Yeah, I know he was only a 7th round pick from us back in 2011, but he did help the Cleveland Monsters. Well, at the time they were the Lake Erie Monsters, actually.
Yes.
Win the Calder Cup because he over for Corpy. He was a big part of that. He played some games for us. So coming back to Nationwide, he put in a good effort, helped Ottawa win. But the one guy who stood out to me the most, and it's not even just because he scored the goal.
It was a great goal too. The tip in front,
and a good pass from Jake.
Yeah, because that's what Jake does.
Exactly. And he played 16:58, so almost 17 minutes, 4 shots on goal, and 2 hits.
Sean played almost 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Good for him, man. Like that's a bump.
Yeah, he earned more minutes throughout the night because of how well he was playing.
Good. That's how it should be, right?
I'll say this about Kirill. Throughout the course of his career, so I'll just go through like his career. 6 goals in 75 games. That was his first full season, so his rookie season. Next year, 8 in 71. Next year, 6 in 69. Nice. Next year, 4 in 47. This year, he's got 6 goals in 39 games.
Oh.
So
he's pretty much set to at least tie the career high, right?
Right, and with that pace, if he just keeps it up, if you do a 60 or an 82 game season,
he almost had a 69 game season.
Yeah, that's 12.6, so that'd be 12 or 13 goals depending on which way the goals. But no, it's good production from a guy who's been a career bottom 6 option. I like the way that he's looked for us.
And we talked about this the last time when we mentioned Sean, when we mentioned Cole, we mentioned Jack all the time. It's like it's good to see local products coming in and wanting to come home and play.
Yeah,
and it shows the growth of the sport in the city.
He also has 8 assists, so he's at 14 points in 39 games.
Okay.
His career high is 23 points, and they have it in 69 games. Nice. So.
Nice.
I mean, he's kind of replicating that pace from his best season. I mean, he's never going to be, a 20 goal guy, but
no,
for bottom 6 guy, if he can chip in 10 plus goals and maybe 25 to 30 points, then that's good production to get out of a bottom six guy who's primarily used on the penalty kill.
Yeah, I like the Curls pick for sure. It's a nice pick.
Wonder where you're gonna go.
Honestly, I was thinking Curls. I was thinking Sean, but now that you said Sean, because I know you don't like to match Kepis or whatever.
Hey, you're allowed to.
I know.
I make the conscious choice not to do it.
No, I'm gonna consciously choose somebody different, like you do. I'm gonna pull you,
right.
And I'm gonna go with Elvis.
Okay.
Because like
well.
the team as a whole played well. Like I think a lot of guys had a really good game. Elvis did, despite, like the Stützle goal. What are you gonna do?
The Stützle goal, I wasn't upset with him at all. I was more upset with Z and Bean letting him just walk right in on them.
Right.
He kind of just split right by, and God, Zach's gonna be harder on him there.
I mean, so would Jake. Like, you just gotta be.
I mean, yeah, you'd like to see a little bit more effort towards the end by Jake there, but that wasn't his guy.
Right. It's still just like you don't want a guy like that streaking in just like that. You
don't
can't
want
let
any guy walking in like that, but you especially don't want it to be Tim Stützle. So
right. Who scored their other goal? I'm just trying to.
It was Artem Zub.
Oh, that's right. It was Zub.
He was one of the more underrated defensemen.
Yes, he is. But okay. Yes, the reason my Kepi's going to Elvis is that he still played out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He did, he always does everything to give the team a chance to win.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, I mean, you look at the stats for the game. What did he stop? He stopped 30. He stopped 30. Yeah, 31 of 33.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to give you. That's more than giving you a chance to win the game.
Right.
You stop 31 of 33, you're going to win that game 8-9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
You'd hope.
Plus, can I just say I still am just mesmerized every time I look at his baby blue pads.
Those are amazing pads. Absolutely.
They're so good looking.
Yeah,
so
I love them.
Beautiful pads. And they go especially well with the cannon thirds. Like, it's just, you look good. You want to play good when you look good, right? You want to
play good.
Yeah, you want to look good every night, or you want to play good every night, but I don't know. The fashion of that jersey pads combination, just like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jackets lost in regulation to Ottawa 2-1. It is what it is at this point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you don't want to lose to a team like Ottawa, who still they're a hard team to play against every night. Like they're bastards.
Right.
Like they're not fully out of their rebuild, obviously, and we can get into Melnick and whatever we want to say about him. But Dorian's still doing a good job with it. And they've got plenty of guys already that, I can see them in a contending window within the next 2 or 3 years now.
Right. So one thing I did want to talk about and tell you about, new perk from JFresh.
Oh God.
These are goalie player cards.
Oh, fun.
So one of these is nice, and the other one is going to make you want to cry.
Is it Elvis versus Corby?
Yes.
Of course it is.
So projected WAR percentage for Elvis Merzlikins, who has been playing in 57% of the games. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
61%.
Okay. I'll take
Not
that.
bad. So, I mean, even strength war percentage about 49%, so average. Penalty kill war percentage 73%, so pretty good on the penalty kill.
Yeah, because you kind of have to be.
So here's where it's interesting with Elvis. Okay, this is what I find interesting about him. So, he does like the categories of quality starts, excellent starts, bad starts.
Okay.
And then consistency. So quality starts, he puts in 42%.
Okay.
Excellent starts, 48%. So these are the different percentiles for it. Bad starts, 69%. Nice. Which doesn't mean that he has a bad start 69% of the time. It means that the prevention of a bad start. He's in the 69th percentile.
Okay.
So he's, and for consistency, 100%. So he's one of the more consistent goaltenders in the National Hockey League.
Which is good to see.
His rebound control is 78%, which is very good.
Yes.
But this is what I find most interesting about Elvis, because this is exactly how I feel about him, and I'm glad to see that this chart kind of confirms it.
You like my shirt, by the way?
Yes.
I just saw it in the camera and I was like, I gotta show it up.
So high danger, medium danger, low danger opportunities. High danger opportunities, 86 percentile.
Oh,
medium danger percentile, 25 percentile. Low danger, 21 percentile. So he is incredibly prone to giving up the bad goal. But he's also incredibly prone to making the unbelievable highlight save.
Yes.
So that's a little fun.
But okay, for people watching on YouTube, it says more cowbell. It's an SNL shirt I got for, I think, Easter one year, just to wrap that loose end for people that actually can watch this. Now, Corpy.
Okay. Well, it doesn't all have to be bad. Okay.
Right.
Rebound control, 80%.
There you go. Okay.
Consistency, 53%.
Could be better. Right. Could be better.
His projected WAR percentage.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have you guess the number.
Okay, so we've talked about his general base numbers, right? And just based off of those numbers, I'm gonna say 17.
Lower.
No. Oh.
Lower.
Okay. Hot or cold, is it less than 10?
Yeah, it's less than 10.
Oh. 5.
4.
Oh no! Oh, Corpy. Oh, buddy.
Holy smoke. High danger scoring opportunities. He's in the 1 percentile.
Oh, buddy.
Medium danger. He's in the 6 percentile. Low danger. He's in the 38 percentile.
So explain this for the layman, please.
It means he gives up bad goals. He gives up goals that are, what are you going to do? And then he also just doesn't stop the high scoring opportunities either. Basically, to say this in the simplest way possible, he gives up a lot of fucking goals.
Yes, and you can tell that just based off of his core stats.
Yes.
Just
you don't even need here's the thing, you don't even need the hilarious analytics that I'm a nerd to understand that. If you just look at the basics.
Yes.
Yeah, no, so this quality starts 14%, excellent starts 23%, bad starts 14%. Like this, he's just
don't know what you do anymore. Like,
he's a non-option at this point. I'm not kidding. I know it's harsh. I'd much rather see what JF Berube has than this guy at this point.
honestly, yeah. And I mean, it'd be nice to get Tara back too.
Yeah, no, if Tara's, I don't want to rush him.
Right.
That's my only concern is I don't want to rush him. But no, he showed at least the 3 games he's more than capable. I like what I saw.
He can play. Like,
there's definitely reason to be excited about him. I mean,
yeah,
the concept of a goaltending tandem of Tarasov as well as Elvis going forward for the next 4 or 5 years. That's definitely an exciting prospect. But for the present, Corpy, I know you want to give Elvis nights off because you don't want him starting all the time.
no, you don't want to give him like the Jack Campbell or Andre Vasilevsky treatment.
Yeah, and you certainly don't want to do that when you're a team that's not going to make the playoffs because that makes no sense to exhaust your goaltender. They kind of ruined him for at least for the next couple of seasons after they did it. But you can understand why the Oilers started or at least played Cam Talbot in 73 games when they made the playoffs that one year.
Yeah,
playoffs. But if you're a team that's not going to make the playoffs, it makes no sense to just completely exhaust your goaltender.
what, like Raycroft when
the
Leafs were back?
Yeah, I mean, at least they didn't trade like a really good goalie prospect for him.
I think he turned out okay.
I'm sure he was fine.
Turn in the knife there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I just needed to get to. So
just a little nerd corner with the goalie.
Of course. I mean, you knew that the nerd was going to come out. Is there any goaltender whose numbers you want to hear about?
Not right now, other than not right now.
Just let me know at any point.
Maybe here in a few segments.
Sure.
The last thing I wanted to touch on with this game in particular, got Cole with that double post, man.
Yeah.
How unfortunate was that shit?
Incredibly. They could have used that goal, huh?
They could have used that goal. Oh my God. I just watched the highlights before we started this and I saw that double post and I was like, like that just every time that happens, it hurts my soul.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to die a little bit inside because I'm like,
at least
this close.
Chances.
Yeah,
at least chances.
He's getting his shots and yeah, for sure. Big news out of Vancouver. You ready for this? For the Jackets podcast that talks about the Canucks.
What happened? Oh yeah. No. Yeah, this is cool.
This is huge news. The Canucks hire Emilie Castonguay as the first female assistant general manager in team history and league history.
Yeah.
Huge news.
Gigantic. It's unbelievable that she's the first
ever. Yeah.
God.
Well, I mean, they did just start. They're slowly but surely adding female officials.
Yeah.
And this is coming off.
There needs to be a slow process with this league.
We'll get to that in a second. But this is just coming off the heels of Rachel Doerrie getting added to their analytics department. So this is really, really cool.
Yeah, no, say what you want about the Canucks and what a shit show they've been, at least the last couple of years. But you got to give the Aquilinis credit for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta hire the people who are the most qualified, and they found 2 incredibly qualified people for their jobs.
They haven't officially named a general manager yet, as far as I know.
Right.
They're still on the interim GM right now.
Yeah. My imagination is that Rutherford's pulling most of those strings.
Oh, it's going to be another one of those?
Yeah, because when you have an interim GM and it's not going to be a long, unless you're planning on removing the interim tag.
Mm-hmm.
If your plan is to have an interim and then hire a new GM, you're going to want to make sure that you're directing the team the way that you want. So
You
if
have
you're
a hockey mind at the top that, yeah.
exactly, that's the whole point that Rutherford's there. So Rutherford's going to have the opportunity to look things over, put this team in a certain direction, and then they can find a GM who can take where they're at in the future and push them along in that direction.
I wonder if they'll pull the same model as Columbus and Montreal now, where it's, you have Rutherford, but then you have
that's what I'm thinking they're gonna do. Who they get, I don't know. I mean, just they'll probably just do a recycle.
Henrik and Daniel, please.
That would be cool. I think that'd be really, really cool to see, because my opinion,
like co-GMs, yeah.
If you're gonna do this system of we got this guy at the top who's really smart, and then we're gonna have a GM, you should always go with someone who's young and someone that you plan on having for a while, rather than a retread.
Right.
Wouldn't make much sense for them to bring in a guy who's been a general manager for several years before. I'd rather go with someone who's maybe been an assistant, maybe similar to like find the next Bill Zito. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Just don't know who they're considering for it, but you know who would be great for it?
Ken Holland?
No, no, like a legitimate guy who's never been a GM before.
Oh, really? Who?
You bring up Henrik and Daniel.
Yeah.
I raise you one Roberto Luongo.
Please, oh please.
Bring him back to Vancouver. That'd be sick.
Oh man, Henrik and Daniel or Bobby Lou would be fantastic. Hell, if you have her around long enough, why not Emilie? Right?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
why not Castonguay?
That'd be dope.
Like that would be a huge step for just like how women are perceived in this league, and women in sports, if in general.
Yeah,
it'd be huge.
That'd be huge.
But yeah, just I wanted to extend my congrats to Castonguay on that, because that's a huge role.
Gigantic.
And it's a big step for just, like I said, women in sports. And coming off the heels of Dory joining the analytics team is actually a pretty cool follow-up story.
It's really cool. And again, like I said, those two stories in just a matter of a week, both same organization. So starts at the top. You got to give some props to the Aquilinis for doing it.
Yeah. They're making some nice moves managerial wise for sure. Shifting gears really, really hard. You fucking called it last episode.
Yeah. Can we talk about how unbelievable I called that? Like, that is actually scary how well I called that.
That was terrifying, because last episode,
I'm ashamed that I called it. I'm incredibly ashamed that I called it. So for context, for anybody who didn't listen,
last episode we talked about Christoph, Hrabek, and Boko Amama.
Yes. It took us a second to think of the incident because there's been so many. Talking about that, and I think the exact quote for me is, God, there's so many things that we haven't heard of. Like, imagine, PK, Malcolm, or Jordan Subban and the stories that they have growing up in hockey. And within a matter of, I want to say 6 to 7 to maybe 8 hours, the video comes out and a story comes out about someone, and we're not going to say his name. He doesn't deserve to have his name be said. Being completely racist to Jordan Subban in the ECHL.
Very similar gesture to what Hrabek did to Boko, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because, they said it was a monkey-like gesture.
Yes.
Right. And this was, this was an incident in the ECHL. The Boko incident is in the AHL.
This is similar to what happened to Jalen Smarek.
Very similar to what happened to Jalen Smerrick.
I mean, how the hell does this keep happening?
Man, I don't know. But like, so that happens, and the video is like you can hear fans going, kick his ass, kick his fucking ass.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, for Jordan to beat the shit out of the other guy. Again, we won't give him the light of day.
Yeah, no, he doesn't deserve it.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Okay, so Jordan plays for the Evansville Icemen, right? Jordan plays for the Icemen. Is he? Because it's the Icemen and the Stingrays. That was at least the game that was going on. I'm assuming, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm assuming Jordan is on the Iceman. But regardless, it's like this shit can't keep happening.
So he's on the Stingrays.
Oh, he's the Stingray? Okay.
Stingrays. So
the Iceman and the E have indefinitely suspended this player, which there was the 30 games for Hrabek, and this league, which is a league lower, decides to throw the entire book and indefinite suspension, cut from the team.
Yes.
So at least they're doing something that's at least a little more substantial. Uh-oh. It says my internet's unstable. Can you still... Am I back? Am I back?
Yeah, you're like in and out.
Great. Hold on.
You're a little bit better now.
A little bit better? Okay.
But you were out for like a good 30, 45 seconds.
Great. I mean, my internet, just so good. So all right. No, that was frat. I don't have the offending player statements bookmarked anywhere, really.
We don't need them. I don't give a shit about them.
But it's weird to see that the reporters were even coming to some sort of trying to defend this player.
Yes, because Ken Campbell, I think, was one of them, came out with something.
Ken Campbell's was the worst one. I saw Darren Dreger had one. A couple others. It's just there's no... How many times do we need to belabor this point? There's no room for this in this sport, in this life. PK's comments were, spot on, and he went on a rant in his post game.
The Devils put out a statement in total support of Jordan, which was nice to see.
Yeah, the Devils said something. A couple other NHL teams said some statements. I'm just tired of it. And to have... So these incidents, both of these came days after Martin Luther King Day and the jersey retirement for Willie O'Ree. You had Martin Luther King Day one day, you had the Willie O'Ree jersey retirement the very next day, and then just a couple days after, you have the incident with Boko Mama, and not even a full 12 hours after that, you have this incident in the Yee with Jordan Subban.
Yeah. And there's still so many people out there who genuinely think that this sport doesn't have a culture problem.
it's nice to see like white players tweeting about it, but we also need more.
We need more. I mean, it takes everybody being on board with it. It's not hard to take a stance against racism.
And this is also like, let me mention, this is coming off, sorry, headphones. Yeah. This is coming off of the heels of the Hockey Diversity Alliance's ad campaign with Budweiser controversy too. We talked about that. We didn't exactly know what was going on when we first talked about it, but it's an ad campaign with Budweiser, the Tape Out Hate campaign.
Yeah.
That the league didn't want any part of, having players wear their team jerseys to be in it.
Yeah.
Which
I didn't get it. I don't know. I mean,
you would
I don't
think
see the downside of it.
I don't see the downside in the campaign.
It's just for a sport and a league that tries to push the narrative that hockey is for everyone. They never show it.
They really don't.
They really don't. Like, and then the ECHL put out that statement, and everybody was calling them weak and everything. Like this is sometimes where like the law and shit like that makes things so complicated, because it would be fucking awesome for the league to just come out and be like, we have thrown out, not suspended, I guess kicked out this player from our league for being a racist piece of shit. That would be just unbelievable. They can't for legal reasons. But it's just, it would be fucking great if they could.
So you would think, right? And just cast them like,
It would be so great if the ECHL was just like, yeah, we want nothing to do with this guy ever again. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit. That would be unbelievable. That would be the greatest statement ever.
Cast him off to the K for all we care.
He's not even good enough to go to the K, but
no, he's not.
Yeah.
But cast him off to the VHL, which is their junior league. I don't care.
Let's just cast him off to no hockey league. How about he just doesn't play hockey?
There's no.
The K doesn't help in all of this.
Well, no.
In hockey's culture problem, if you have a problem, if you're abusive, if you're racist, if you're homophobic, if you're sexist, and you get caught, don't worry about it. You'll have a place over there.
The K's gonna sweep you under the rug. Like,
yeah.
There's a reason.
I don't even know if they do that. They'll promote you. They don't give a shit. They're shameless.
I mean, they hired Bill Peters. They've
had Slava Voinov there for a while.
They have had Voinov there and he's trying to come back.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting in its own.
They took Jake Virtanen.
They took Leipzig.
Yeah.
Which, again, you said, the reason why nobody's going to want them over here in the NHL as well as just being pieces of shit is that they're marginal players.
Yeah, you can't be a marginal player and get away with it. The only player right now who's in the KHL who hasn't been back in the NHL who's not a marginal player is Voinov.
And that's for a whole other can of worms, which...
Yeah, which we just don't have time for that. I am at least happy that the league hasn't allowed him back, but...
Right.
I mean, it's one headache after another. I mean,
it's racism, it's domestic abuse. It's when is any of this enough? When are we just going to, as fans, how are we supposed to bring enough attention to this to where the top is going to do any damn thing about it?
I have no idea, because the problem is we could talk about this. We talked about it last episode. We've talked about it a million episodes. Like, do
we just not go to games anymore? Because I don't want to do that.
No, this is just it's an issue. It's a major one, and it's an issue that's going to take decades to fix, because you need to change it at the top. But the problem is at its worst at the bottom. Like I said, this league has incredible issues. Players are there's several players who are sexist. racist, all different kinds of things that are bad.
Yes.
We talk about that. There's an issue there. Jake, this might be where it's the best. Isn't that a scary fucking thought? That's how bad the culture of this sport is. It's way worse behind closed doors.
Yeah.
There's so many other leagues where this is way more of an issue. Growing up, this is an issue.
Yeah, and I mean
that was the whole point of last episode with what I said with the Subbans and so many other of the black players who were in the National Hockey League. Think about what they had to go through growing up.
I mean, we talked about it with the wealth distribution part of it too. Like, it's a very wealthy sport, and for people that want to grow up and love this sport and play it, they can't just because they can't afford it.
Yeah. And that's why the hockey's always going to have an issue. But I just think back to, like, from the time you grow up, I mean, it's worse from the ages of like 13 to probably 17 in terms of that. That's what I'm saying. It's absolutely worst.
Because you're still a kid. You're subjected to all of this terrible, all these transgressions, and you don't know how to cope with it, or at least like you just have to live with it because you don't know how to fight against it.
Yeah, you don't, because, and then like I said, the main reason I brought up the point of the Subbans and all the other, black players, and maybe just the black players, any player of color, what they had to deal with growing up.
Nas, is another one.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like,
Kara, guys like that.
At least these players who are playing professionally have a platform now.
Right.
Something happens to Jordan Subban, it got out because he tweeted about it.
Yes.
And someone had a video. Boko, Jalen Smerrick, and so many other instances. Think about the hundreds, maybe thousands of black hockey players growing up, doesn't matter what their age is, who have no platform, who've been called the N-word or other horrible things on the ice, who don't have the platform to be able to speak out about it or get anybody in trouble for the horrible things that they've done to them.
Who've been subjected to gestures like the banana peeling or the monkey scratching or what have you.
It's been a horrible thing said to these players.
Said, done. We talked about, like, we briefly mentioned the Wayne Simmons thing where they threw a banana peel at him in juniors.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know how you fix this. Like I said, we want to fix this. I said maybe it's going to take decades. It might take centuries.
It's such a slow burn, and like there's no
slow burn. It contributes. It's one of the reasons we like sports is because it's connected to our society, but it's almost an escape from.
It's escapism, yes.
But at the end of the day, you can never escape the fact that it's connected to society. Think about just general society. It has taken centuries upon centuries for the progress of black people in America in general, not just sports.
Right.
Think about what a slow burn that has been, and we still have so far to go.
Oh, yeah.
So I think about the progress that this sport with their culture has to make. It's going to take a while, and it sucks that it is. But the only thing I can say that's positive is at least that these conversations are happening, because growing up around this sport, I started watching hockey in 2011. These conversations weren't going on then. They weren't going on in 2012, 2013, 14, 15. These are all recent. It should have happened before this, but at least it's happening now, I guess. But we still have a very, very long way to go.
Yes. I'm so tired of it. Like, I was always raised to just, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like, how you act. Well, I care how you act. I care how you act. If you're cool with me, I will be cool with you. That is the bare minimum that should happen, right?
Sure. Like, at the end of the day, a person's a person. They might be white. They might be black. They might be straight. They might be gay. I don't care. At the end of the day, you're a person, so I'm going to treat you with respect.
Yeah.
And all we ask is that you treat us with respect too, and that's the bottom line. It's not hard to treat people with respect, and it boggles my mind that there are people who are raised not to treat everybody with respect.
If you were very least like, you know, a lay person, that is your average good-hearted person, like, how is this hard? How are you actively choosing to not be a good person to certain people?
Well, that's the thing, though. If you don't treat these people, if you don't treat people of color with respect, or people who aren't straight, or anything like that, people who are different from you, if you don't treat people who are different from you with respect, then you're not a good person. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. I don't know how to.
The thing, we say that we're tired of these of having, and we're not tired of these conversations. We're tired
because these, yes,
talk about this because it's an issue. We hate that it's an issue, but
right.
we still have to talk about it, and we're prepared to talk about it for the next couple decades, maybe longer.
As long as it takes.
Yeah.
As long as it takes, man.
Yeah.
Until the actual change happens.
That's all we're looking for.
Yeah. And it's really not that hard. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be that hard.
It shouldn't. But like I said, it's sports are always tied to society, and the hockey culture issue is just on a smaller scale one of the main issues that we see in society. This country, as well as so many other countries, have
there's such a huge
long way to go with racism, as well as many other issues.
Yes. I just want to, I guess I'll wrap it by saying, like, we're going to stand with you, Jordan, and we're going to stand with anybody. Yeah. Like, we're going to stand with anybody that goes through this. Boko, whoever's next, God forbid.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned the other minorities of people in this sport. Like, if we want to bring a bright light into it, like you mentioned Luke Prokop last episode, there's a big one.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, it's like I said, like, I think he just came out, I want to say last year, right?
It was probably around.
Or was it early this year?
It was like around the summer, no. I think. If it wasn't last summer,
it wasn't a year ago, but it was technically last year. I keep forgetting this 2022.
Right.
Time's a flat circle. I never know I don't even know what day it is.
It's Tuesday. That's because it's a podcast day.
We're all just living in a simulation.
God, really?
But no, so this kid came out bravely, courageously came out. Mm-hmm. I don't know who else know prior, but imagine the kids who are out, who are playing hockey
and are being subjected to
14, 15, mm-hmm. 16, who are playing or older, who are playing hockey, who are fully out. Think about the culture problem that this sport has. Imagine how many times those kids have been called the F word.
They have someone to look up to in Luke now, which is good to have somebody to, yeah.
God bless the Nashville Predators organization.
Honestly, with that, yeah.
And the things that they've done for him.
The whole league, at least, players wise, just outpoured so much support right away. And it's like, that's one thing that you like to see.
It is. It's a very good thing to see.
It's definitely like, it's good to know that players, that at the very least players will be supportive of these kinds of endeavors. when the higher ups just won't because boys club.
Yes, because boys club will boys club. Always.
This is going to be the most awkward transition ever. Speaking of boys club, Vegas is an ultimate boys club. God, my transitions are getting so bad.
I think maybe we should just stop the transitions and do next topic.
And just be like, okay, here's this.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. So Bill Foley and Kelly McCrimmon are going back and forth on saying Eichel's return, because like there was a while back that he said there was going to be a couple of weeks. Now Bill Foley is saying he's out another month or two.
Yeah, I don't know who we listen to because, you're hearing conflicting things. My suggestion for the Golden Knights, and they're not going to listen to me because they don't know I exist.
Right.
But if for some weird reason they do hear this,
you should tweet at them and be like, "Hi, I exist." So at least the social media people know you do.
Yeah, and their social media people will tweet back something cringe because it's the worst account. Vegas is in first. In the Pacific, they have 52 points in 42 games. Two teams behind them: Anaheim, 49 points, but in two more games, 44. LA, 48 points in
Good
one
on
more
Anaheim
game.
and LA too. Like LA's in that mix. Wow.
I'm more surprised at Anaheim. I thought LA was going to be a bubble team this year. So I'm not so surprised there, but
Anaheim's been a fun watch this year.
They have. But for Vegas, I'm looking at them and I'm like, it's a weak division. You're probably going to win that division. You're doing fine as is. My recommendation: don't screw around with your asset. Don't take any unnecessary risks.
Don't pull a
2 months. If the doctor tells you he could be back in 5 to 6 weeks, take 6 weeks. Maybe even take 7. Be extra careful because this is a delicate asset and this is an incredibly important year for you guys.
Incredibly important year, incredibly important player that you just acquired. Like,
remember, you are paying this guy. This guy's against your cap at $10 million a year. This is an asset you don't want to screw around with.
Like,
you can't afford to screw around with this asset.
No, you can't.
Asset management, we always talk about that in general, being a general manager. It's not just trades, free agency, stuff like that. It's not always as simple as buy low, sell high.
In a business sense, players are your assets, and you can't.
Yeah, it also comes with just how you utilize those players, and part of asset management is making sure that you are protecting your players,
which the Pagulas did not do at all.
Stunner. Yeah, it's about making sure you're doing the smartest things possible. And the smartest thing possible for the Vegas Golden Knights is understanding we're first in this division. We're probably going to win this division. Even if we don't, we're still a playoff team, basically, no matter what. We
still basically a contender.
We're a legitimate contender. Winning right now in the next couple of weeks isn't of the utmost importance. It's important, but it is nowhere near as important as winning in the playoffs, which is the whole entire reason you acquired this player.
Right.
So make sure that he is healthy. You protect him. You get him back into the swings of things well. And hopefully by the time the playoffs start, he can flourish.
Can you imagine when the playoffs begin and like everybody's healthy, or at least as healthy as they can be? Imagine loading up your first power play unit with like Pacioretty, Stone, Eichel as your forward line.
You could probably use. You also got Theodore and Pietrangelo.
And Theo and Petro, and it's just like.
And then your second power play unit would have Marchessault, Smith,
Carlson. God, they're so silly. It's like they're just crazy. I want to just give a shout out to George McPhee again too, just because he's my guy. he's one of my BG guys, you know.
Yeah, the Golden Knights, man, they've done
really well since the beginning, and it's like this is the first year that they've really faced like downspouts, like really downspouts.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. They're still in a weak enough division where it doesn't matter. And they only face those downspouts because they had injuries.
I mean, it helps when you have your little expansion brother in there with you.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't hurt.
And then the collapse of the Oilers and all that other fun stuff. And the rise of the Quackening is fun.
Real quick, while we're on the topic of Jack Eichel.
Yes.
I do think it is important to shout out Alex Tuch, who did go the other way.
Yes.
10 points in 9 games for the Sabres.
And he's had some unbelievable plays too. Like there was a goal that he scored recently that I was like, are you kidding me, Alex?
And then in 7 games so far for the Sabres, for Peyton Krebs, he has 2 goals and an assist. The other day, he scored his first 2 NHL goals in the same game. So, I mean, good for him. I mean,
he's playing on the top line.
He's played well.
It's like, yeah, the assets that went the other way are doing pretty damn well too, which is, probably the best thing you could hope for.
They still have some picks to go along with it, so. And the Sabres are never going to win that trade unless, of course, Eichel just falls apart and doesn't play. But
I mean, we don't want to see that as hockey fans.
Yeah, no, of course not.
we
win the trade, but still, it's still good that they were able to recuperate what they were able to from, because Tuch is a good piece, especially for the top 6. He's been playing really well.
Hometown kid again.
Yeah, hometown kid. I honestly think that he's future captain of the Buffalo Sabres.
Ooh, spicy take.
I think he's going to be there for a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended his career there.
Spicy take. I like it.
I mean, think about it. A local kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in the league for a decent amount of time, but he's still pretty young. He's under contract for a while, and he's a good leader. Yeah, he's a guy that people respect. People like him.
I mean, we saw that in Vegas. Like everybody looked up to Tuch.
So, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, but like, it's good to see those 2 guys succeeding already. But now we just got to wait for Jack.
Yeah.
And we're all waiting with bated breath.
We are.
Please, I'm so excited to finally see Jack Eichel in the playoffs. Like,
who knows? Maybe he's a beast in the playoffs.
Maybe.
Or maybe he's a choker.
Maybe he's better than Connor McDavid in the playoffs.
Let's not go that far.
Didn't Connor have like 9 points in 4 games in the bubble?
Did he?
I think he did.
He probably did, and they still lost.
God.
It's to Chicago of all teams.
Let's switch to the Metro Division. And how about them Rangers, dude?
I mean, we talked about them at the beginning of the year as a team we thought was almost virtually a lock to make it to the playoffs.
Dude,
I'm pretty comfortable with that.
Chris Kreider scored his 30th goal of the season, and he leads the league in goals.
Yes, Chris Kreider has 30 goals on the season. He's in 43 games.
He's the first one to reach 30 goals this year.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Chris Kreider, I don't think I would have, as much as he is a name.
He's a good player.
He's a very good player. I didn't expect
You
that.
project him to have more goals at this point in the season than Alex Ovechkin. He's on pace for 57.
What?
It's just hilarious. Now, I doubt that he keeps his pace up, but
Well,
he could legitimately get to 50 though. If he stays healthy, he's easily going to get to 40. But there's a legitimate chance if he continues, he could get to 50.
He's on a fucking tear, and it's like
he's got 15 power play goals.
It's like I don't know whether to be like, happy for an opponent. I mean, I can at least be happy for an individual, even if he is on a rival team.
I don't really hate the Rangers. I don't have an issue with them.
Not really. Like not even Bread, because we knew why he left.
Here's the thing. I was the range of emotions that day was hilarious because we went at nighttime for like 10 o'clock to 12, hearing the Blue Jackets put in some ridiculous offer for him, and I was like, please keep him. Please just accept the ridiculous offer. I don't care. And then he watched. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And then I saw a report that he was going to go to the Islanders, and I was enraged.
The Islanders?
Yes. That was like the number one rumor for a while. It was, oh my God, she's going to go to the Islanders. And I was about ready to throw my phone through the freaking window. I was so pissed off about that. And then he signed with the Rangers, and I was like, all right, that's fine.
Like, better. Somehow better.
I was assuming he was doing that to try and up the Rangers offer, but
maybe
Islanders. I'd hate my life if he was an Islander.
Why?
I can't stand the Islanders.
You love Pulick and Pellick.
I do. I respect the team. I respect how they're constructed.
Uh-huh.
But I hate the Islanders.
Unlike Edmonton.
No, because they're poorly constructed. But also, Metro, man, like, I mean, I still think Carolina's going to pull out the division. So they're only 4 points behind the Rangers, and they have 5 games at hand.
Okay. Goalie card. Igor. Let's see it.
Okay.
Let's see how insane this is, because we love talking about Igor Shesterkin.
What do you think his projected WAR percentage is?
90.
It's 99.
Whoa, okay.
So Jay Fresh actually had a tweet about like how historic this performance is.
It's very Henrik-esque. Like we talked about this before. Like not a bad goalie to pass the torch to.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, dude.
Isn't that this week? The Henrik retirement?
I believe so.
I think that's this week.
Here's what I'll say about Henrik, and this is no disrespect to Henrik. Henrik's an unbelievable goalie.
He was for a long time.
He's one of the greatest goalies we've ever seen.
Yes.
I don't know if Henrik ever had a season as dominant as what Igor Shesterkin is doing right now. And let me put this, and let me explain why. So this is from Jay Fresh. Okay. Mm-hmm. So let me just
read his card.
We talked about the goals saved above expected, and he's plus 26. Okay.
So yeah.
So I said WAR percentage 99%, PK percentage for WAR 89%, high danger 100%.
Whoa!
Medium danger 93%, low danger 85%, quality starts 99%, excellent starts 86%, bad starts 97%, rebound control is his only gray area. It's his lowest percentage 48%. He's still his worst category by a mile is still average. Consistency 77%. Now here's what Jay Fresh said. To put his impact in perspective, based on historical standings data, if he was playing as a league average goaltender, league average starter this season, the Rangers would have a 51.5 points percentage. That is the same as the New York Islanders.
Oh. I saw a tweet recently. Oh gosh. I wish I could find it off the top of my head, but they just listed his like save percentages over the last like 7 years, split between the K and the NHL. And they're monstrous. They're bonkers. They're absolutely just like, what? I gotta see if I can find this. Igor Shesterkin. Let's see.
So,
oh, here we go. Ready? Igor Shesterkin's last 6 seasons, aged 21 to 26, worth of his save percentages. You ready for this? 937.
yes.
933, 953,
Yes.
932,
Okay.
916, and 936. How ridiculous is that shit? His worst one is a 916
In the National Hockey League.
Yes. He had a 953 in his last season in the K and a 932 in his first season in the NHL to follow that up.
So here's an interesting thing for you. Okay. Expected goals for percentage in the National Hockey League.
Yes.
Let me go. So these are the worst in the National Hockey League in terms of percentage, okay?
Jonas.
The Flyers, 45.99 are at 7. So that's 7th worst.
Okay.
Blue Jackets are at 6th worst. 45.92. Blackhawks 5th. Canadiens 4th. Coyotes 3rd. Sabres 2nd. The Rangers are 1st.
Really?
The Rangers are, in a way, Edmonton, but with a great goalie.
Well,
seriously, they're like some of the acquisitions and stuff like that. Things have not worked out the way that I thought they were going to for the Rangers. It hasn't mattered because they've been carried by
they've
Igor.
been literally like, yeah.
In the playoffs, the second that these numbers taper off even just a little bit, they're in trouble. But they're going to be a playoff team. They're improving. Their main concern now has to go to the development of Kakko and Lafreniere.
Yes.
They're a team that seems to be really being carried right now by Kreider, by Zibanejad,
by Bread, and Igor.
by Fox. And obviously Igor, but
Yeah.
more so
in terms of skaters, yes.
Yes.
Did you see Laugh's shootout goal the other night, though?
I did not.
It was pretty damn good. And then Fox won it, and you're like, of course he did.
Yeah, no. Look, the Rangers, man, they got some really good pieces. Panarin, besides Shesterkin, just in terms of skaters, yeah, Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, Fox. Trouba, I think, is improved from last season.
Mm-hmm.
Still not worth the money, but
Heedle's a very underrated guy.
Yeah, very underrated. Keandre Miller's got potential.
Keandre is looking good.
Zach Jones has potential. There's still a lot of development that needs to go on with this team, though. They're still very far away from where they need to be.
Kravtsov's gone, right?
Yes and no. He's still in their organization, but he's not playing. He's not going to play again for the Rangers.
Right. Okay.
I
forgot about that being like a whole broken relationship thing.
And that's irreparable.
Yeah.
Relationship.
There was one more guy that I wanted to mention that was I can't remember him off the top of my head, but maybe we can get to him in a later episode. As long as the Rangers continue this craziness, because they're sitting first in the Metro right now, dude.
It's not going to last long because of what I said about the Hurricanes. Really 4 points behind, and they got 5 games at hand. But still,
right.
The fact that they're in this position is unbelievable, and it's literally all thanks to Shesterkin.
It's craziness. And I thought we were just going to gush about how Kreider is pulling off probably one of the best seasons we've ever seen him have. Meanwhile, we turned it into a whole Igor hour. The Oilers won. Now what do they do?
Fire everybody.
Pretty much. End of segment. No. So coming off the heels of Pissy. God,
they won a game.
God,
You know what though? Give him credit. I mean, that very pissy player had 2 goals and 2 assists.
Yes, he did. In the big win, in the one win so far. I want pissy merch. Like, I just seriously, can we figure out a way to do that? Or at least,
you know who also scored a goal in that game though?
Who?
Extremely pissy Brendan Perlini.
Woo! Ray of Sunshine, Brendan Perlini. God love him. God bless him. And like his whole, like, seriously, we should have talked about that more because that was the one that broke first.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we should have really talked about that interview more.
Now, they'll have a chance to maybe string 2 wins in a row together because their next game is at Vancouver.
Okay.
And the Canucks kind of suck. But who knows? That also seems exactly like the kind of game that the Oilers lose.
I mean, Bruce has made them better.
Yeah, but they've
Tippett has not made Edmonton that much better recently.
The Canucks though have lost 2 in a row. Before that, they beat Nashville and Washington, but before that, they lost 3 in a row. So they've been relatively cold as of late because they've lost 5 of the last 7.
They can probably take 2 out of their next 3. They're at Vancouver, then they host Nashville, and then they're in Montreal.
You gotta win.
You gotta win the Montreal one at the very least, right?
Yeah. We're really not asking much of you.
No. Especially because Montreal's sitting at like, what? They don't even have Montembeault. It's like Caden Primo and Niven.
Oh, God. Michael McNiven.
Yeah. That's their tandem right now is Primo and McNiven.
Oh, my God.
Well, the Canucks aren't that much better in terms of their goalie pipeline because they're now at Mikey, who's 5th, because everybody else is on COVID protocols.
Is he 5th?
I saw he was like the tweet said 4th and the actual like pipeline thing said 5th. I don't know.
Huh.
So yeah, it's weird, right? Like the Canucks are having COVID issues with their goalies. And
yeah, they got Demko, Halak, Spencer Martin, and Mikey DiPietro. Oh, interesting. Forgot that they got Spencer Martin.
Yeah, because they had Martin, and then they had somebody else that they were starting before Mikey, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what the Oilers do other than just try to keep at it, right? Like at this point, I think it is what it is, unless something really, really egregious happens, which they've already gone through enough egregiousness.
Right.
With how that stretch went, and just topping it off with the Jim Matheson Draisaitl beef. Like, come on.
I'm telling you, the thing that the Oilers, I said this last podcast, that they have to do is they have to try and make this like some sort of like joke in the locker room.
Make Pissy like a rallying
like
joke.
You need to make Pissy your rallying cry.
It's like at St. Louis they had Play Gloria and And in Edmonton, it's play the pissy clip.
Right. They need to make like some sort of like remix of that in with a song. And just locker room after like every win.
Oh, that'd be so much fun, right?
Yeah.
That'd be super funny. I want to give a big congratulations again. This one is going to someone who really, really deserves it, that we've enjoyed watching play like for years. Keith Yandle tying the Ironman streak record. And he's about to pass it his next game.
Good. Now, here's the thing. The good thing for the Flyers is they can continue to play him without any consequences because they're out of it for good. If they were in the playoff race, then maybe don't play Keith Yandle. But
poor Cam.
He's a good guy. I
love Cam and love Yans. Yes,
and he's had an unbelievable career, but he is so unbelievably past his prime. I'm glad that he's done it long enough to get this record. He deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
But
all I can say is at least
probably shouldn't be on an NHL roster next year.
All I can say is at least Mike Babcock isn't his coach, because then he probably would have scratched him for the milestone game.
Probably.
And forever and ever amen after that.
It wouldn't have been the most unfair thing to do, though, because he has been horrible for them.
At least he's been able to do that and like just play, and because it's such a feat. Like, how many seasons in a row has that got to be? Like 14 full seasons?
What's the number he's at?
Next game is 965.
That is over 11 seasons.
It's over 11?
Yeah.
That's at least the benchmark you can give me.
Well, I mean, it's between 11 and 12.
Okay, fair enough.
So, like, yeah.
That's just it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it was such a quiet thing too. Like, it was what we were so focused on, like, Yager's longevity and Alex Ovechkin chasing Gretzky's records and the Andrechuk record. And then like the Ironman streaks just kind of went by the wayside. We were talking about Phil Kessel and his, and the only one that was really like close was Yandle. And now he's got it and he's going to break it.
It's unbelievable that Phil Kessel's played
as long as he has.
Yeah.
As consecutively as he has.
As consecutively as he has too. When you just think about the kind of player that he is.
Right.
Both
played for the Coyotes. There's our Coyotes tie-in.
Well, I mean, Yandle played for the Coyotes for a long time.
Yeah.
Whoa. The Coyotes are the key to playing a long time in the National Hockey League.
Wow. Maybe they should stay in Arizona then after all, Gary?
Yeah.
If that's the key to long-term success for an individual player to play.
If you want to have a hilariously long career,
play in Arizona for a little bit.
Make sure you have at least 2 years there.
Hey, Galchenyuk's got it.
I mean, Galchenyuk has played a lot longer in the NHL than he should, so
he's gonna go for the Mike.
He's getting jobs somehow.
He's gonna go for the Mike Sillinger record.
Good Lord! I mean, this dude keeps getting jobs because he was the 3rd overall pick.
Well, yeah. God, what was that draft year? It was like,
oh my God, it was. There was Yakupov 1, Murray 2.
Oh, it was. Oh, that was 2012.
3.
Oh no.
Wasn't
Griffin Reinhart was 4.
Griffin Reinhart, and then the first good pick of it was 5, and it was Morgan Riley.
It was Mo, and it was like, oh, Mo should have gone first.
Nah, I think Mo should have gone second.
He should have.
Yeah.
Think about it. Yeah.
God, I gotta look up this freaking draft.
The 2012, like how we talk about the 2015 draft being like one of the best. We're gonna shit on the 2012 draft.
Well, 5, 6, and 7 were all good.
Yeah.
Morgan Riley. Yeah, so the first 4 picks were hilarious. Then Morgan Riley, Hampus Lindholm, Matt Dumba. All 5 of those are all good defensemen, and they're all still with their team.
All 5 of those?
I'm an idiot. All 3 of them.
Starting at 5.
Yeah, starting at 5 is what I meant. So Riley, Lindholm, and Dumba are all still with their teams that drafted them.
And very serviceable and doing their thing.
Number 8 was Derek Pouliot.
I mean, he's still around.
Is he? Where's he at?
I don't know.
He's definitely not around.
At least he's a name I recognize. Like,
I mean, you also recognize the first 4 names.
Right, and Yakupov's out of the league. Murray's still playing. He's in Colorado.
Yeah, he plays.
And Gouch plays. And Griffin's nowhere to be found.
Griffin's alive.
Griffin's alive.
Jacob Trouba went 9.
Oh, okay.
Later, Cuckoo went 10.
Right. Ooh. NHL player.
Yeah, you know what? The Lightning aren't sweating that one too much. So
Cuckoo's an NHL player still.
Yeah, I suppose. Number 11, Philip Forsberg.
Oh.
You know, at least the Capitals fully utilized him.
Yeah, at least the Caps were able to use him up. Yeah.
Holy shit, man. 12 Grigorenko, 13 Fox, 14 Gergensons, 15 Cody Ceci.
Cody Ceci was a 15th overall pick.
Yep. It's hilarious. You think about
he's the same age as I feel like Ryan Murray is also like way younger than he is.
Okay, so from 12 to
like
15.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doesn't Ryan Murray like look way younger than he truly is? Because like you look at Riley, you look at I don't see Riley and Ceci being the same age. I don't see Ryan Murray and Cody Ceci being the same age. Like,
yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
No, I get exactly what you're saying. I'm looking here. The 4 picks back to back of Grigorenko, Fox, Gergensons, and Ceci is hilarious when you consider the next 4 consecutive picks are Tom Wilson, Tomas Hertl, Teuvo Teravainen, and Andrei Vasilevsky.
Oh God! Oh
and
my God!
The rest of this first round after that are all rough. Scott Lawton, Mark Jankowski, Oli Mata, Mike Matheson, Malcolm Subban, Jordan Schmaltz, Brendan Gaunce, Henrik Samuelsson. 29 was Stefan Matto, and then 30 was Tanner Pearson. The only other one, I guess, would be 28, and that was Brady Shea. But even then, he's
Shea and Pearson. I mean,
fine.
I wouldn't put Pearson on a pedestal.
He's definitely not on the same level as like Mark Jankowski and Malcolm Subban and Jordan Schmaltz and Brendan Gaunce, but yeah, Pearson's fine.
Pearson's a serviceable player, of course. Like
and considering what he was able to do with the Kings, it was definitely worth the 30th overall pick.
Yes,
it's just he's not at that level now. Yeah,
anyway, Congrats to Gans.
That is so freaking hilarious.
We got on a weird 2012 tangent there for
Oh my God, that draft's unbelievable. I did not know the 4-win consecutive. That is so funny.
Hold on, let me put that in my notes because I actually want to put that as a thing. 2012 draft laugh. That's how I'm gonna put it in the notes. Columbus has a couple prospects that are going to be Olympians. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Marchenko and Voronkov are going to be forwards on the Russian Olympic team.
I'm very excited about Marchenko. I've heard a lot of good things about Voronkov, but I think the concern is so much about is he ever going to come over? Whereas with Marchenko, it's not really as much of a question. Because Marchenko should be here next year, I think, right?
He'll probably at least come over to North America.
He's going to be good.
Like, I don't see him making the NHL squad right out of camp, maybe, but like,
I think he could, to be honest.
He could.
I think he's good.
Like,
I think he's really good.
I don't want to like completely count him out, because like we've watched his highlights. He is very, very good.
Got great shot.
He does have a really good dude. Remember we talked about this, like a perspective line of like fucking Marchenko, Voronkov, Chinnikov. Like, just imagine that Russian machine.
I'd love to see it.
Me too.
And bring out the best in each other.
Honestly. And they'd be able to communicate, no problem.
None.
I want to end this by talking some foosball, because the playoffs for the NFL
this was not a topic that I thought we were going to talk about today, but
I mean, it's a good ending discussion because it's just nice and chill and we can spend a couple of minutes on it, and it's like, yeah, because it's been fun. Like, honestly, this is probably some of the most fun I've had just keeping track of NFL playoff games.
Yeah. No, I mean, that was maybe the best weekend of football I've ever seen.
And I don't just say that as a Bengals fan.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. It's the crazy thing is each game got better as we went along, because Bengals was a good game.
It was a very good game.
It was a different kind of good game
than Bills Chiefs. Like,
it was a good game because it was kind of a hilarious game. Ryan Tannehill throws an interception on the first play of the game. The Bengals.
Joey got sacked 9 times.
Joe Burrow got sacked, and just about it was a competition of which team can get their quarterback killed. And they go back and forth. The Titans keep doing dumb things. The hilarious quick screen to the right that got knocked up into the air and picked off by the Bengals right after a big run by Dante Foreman, and it just back and forth, the unreal catch by AJ Brown, and then it all ends with Tannehill throwing an interception, Burrow getting you into field goal range, and
that's why you draft a kicker.
Well, that's why you draft a good kicker. I've seen the Browns try to pick field goal kickers for several years, and they never work.
And they just whiff on them, huh?
But I mean, McPherson's a good kicker. I mean, I liked him when he was at Florida because he's got a big leg.
That's what they all say, don't they?
What?
Big leg.
Yeah. I suppose.
I tried. Okay.
And then you get the next game, which was unbelievable for me as a Chicago Bears fan.
Yeah.
They really lost again in their first game.
I mean,
I hate Aaron Rodgers so much. Oh my god, I was dancing on his freaking grave in that game. Are you kidding me? It was so much fun to watch. You were at home. You just. I'm gonna go on right here for a second about Aaron Rodgers. You were bitching all off season about how the Packers never did anything for you. They do, and they cater to your every whim the entire season. They put up with all your bullshit, and with
let you set your records.
But yeah, you set your record. You're total cancerous person in the locker room with your personality, all that shit. Your headache off the field, all this shit you did, all this complaining, everything like that. All you had to do was beat a team who couldn't score an offensive or defensive touchdown, and you couldn't do it at home. The only touchdown the 49ers got in the game was on special teams, on a blocked kick, on a blocked field goal, on a blocked punt.
Get your plays right. Come on.
You could only score 10 points.
It's really, did you watch the U-Tree video on the frog and the scorpion?
Yes.
About both of those two?
The best part about all of it, the game-winning field goal. Long time Chicago Bear Robbie Gold.
I think
just putting the knife, the stick, whatever the fuck you want to call it, right into the heart.
It was funny because our friend Lissa, the pickle queen on the SDPN Discord, was just having herself a day.
Really?
After that game ended, she was having herself a night.
I was out at a bar with my friend Steph because it was her 23rd birthday, and
nice.
Everybody's socializing. I was talking with her friends, but like the fourth quarter, like I was so silent. I was literally just glued to the TV.
Just like, yep.
You would have thought that I was a 49ers fan the way that I was reacting to that game.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy Gorgeous. I'll reiterate my tweet from the other night. I really want to see Bengals 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Dude, oh please. Oh my God. For the revenge factor alone. Like,
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about because it would be the sexiest Super Bowl Sunday we would ever have. Joe Burrow, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan. Just saying. That is one good looking Super Bowl.
I will say, I think your rant on Rodgers makes him a perfect fit for a Pittsburgh quarterback next year.
I would rather not.
Yeah, me too.
I would rather he just retire and just spend the rest of his life on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy, or what were those commercials he was doing?
State Farm.
State Farm commercials, the discount double checks, right?
Yes.
And then we had Rams Bucks after that.
That game was unbelievable because
listen, I was watching Rich Eisen talk about the dualities of number 9 and how fucking unreal Stafford was too. Just like,
yeah, give some credit to Matt Stafford, man. He made some plays. I mean, this is a guy who never had a chance in Detroit because of just how awful they are.
Because that's just Detroit.
He finally gets his chance to do something in LA. They find a way to beat the shit out of the Cardinals last week. And then he has the tough task of trying to beat Tom Brady on the road, and he does it.
And I mean, the Bucs stormed back for
they did
what it's worth, but
I seriously thought that Tampa Bay was going to win that game.
I did too, honestly, just because it's Brady and it's
because it's Brady and they came back. My buddy Aiden's a Jets fan, so he hates
Christian didn't
Brady.
Christian didn't want to see Brady. Like he literally in our group chat was like, the evil has been slain for a third time. I'm like, okay, buddy, chill.
I thought this guy was going to perish. I thought he was going to die on the spot if the Bucks won that game, because he was just like, it's 27-3, but Tampa starts to come back a little bit. He's just like, no. He's like, I'm getting flashbacks. No, I can't do this. And then Fournette scores a touchdown to tie the game, and he keeled over. I just the pain in him, and he went so nuts when Stafford hit Cooper Kupp to put him in field goal range.
Dude, Cooper Kupp is
unbelievable,
unreal too.
How is he open on every play?
I
like,
couldn't tell you.
It's crazy. He's an unbelievable rider.
I will say the only Buccaneer that I feel bad for is Scotty Miller.
Yeah, because he went to BG.
Yes.
Be more transparent. I mean, he's won a title, so he's fine.
Yeah, he got his ring last year. I'm happy.
He's fine. And then the last game.
And then let's just say this because, like, Brady's taking things day by day now.
He'll be back.
I mean, I'm assuming he'll be back because he says he wants to play till he's 45, but we don't know.
He'll be back.
I hope he'll be back because, like, it's Tom Brady. He's got to go out on top.
Yeah.
You know?
I know a lot of people hate him. I love him, but
I'm mixed with Tom Brady a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like, he's the best that's played.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Like, there's no chance he's gonna just end it without winning it all one more time. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then we get to the last game.
Oh my God. Can we just bypass all the Super Bowl rules and just make this a 7-game series type of deal?
You know, I understand, and if we could just talk quick about people are complaining about the overtime rules.
Yes.
And I hate them. But personally, I understand why it is the way that it is, because especially for this game, if it was where both teams got an opportunity, the game would still be going on right now.
Right. God, it's just that crazy.
It would still be happening.
It's so nuts.
Neither team was never not going to score a touchdown.
Well, no, because you have Patrick Mahomes on one end and Josh Allen on the other, and Josh will kill you in either way. And then Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes.
Also going to kill you in either way. These guys, just the arm strength, the mobility, and just
the targets that they have. Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs.
Oh my God, Gabe Davis. 4 touchdowns in a game. Dawson Knox is really good. Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek is like, you know, my youngest brother is 11 and he likes cheering for the Chiefs because he likes Patty Mahomes as, like, you know, a second team or whatever. But he also really loves himself some Tyreek and Travis. Like, let's go.
They're unbelievable. It was crazy because, like, every time something happened in the last 2 minutes, like Josh Allen, what was it, like 4th and 11, 4th and 13, you know, finds Gabe Davis wide open for the touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion. I'm like, oh, but they left Mahomes way too much time. But then Mahomes scores quickly, and I'm like, oh my God, a minute 2, they got to throw all 3 timeouts.
The Bills got time.
Dude, I'm like, dude, they left Josh Allen too much time. And then Josh Allen right down the field, he throws a touchdown. I'm like, oh my God, they have all 3 timeouts in 13 seconds, and they only need a field goal. They might have left Mahomes too much time. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's just a total gunfight. Just a slug match. Like,
it was unbelievable. It was crazy. I mean, it's one of the best games I think I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, that was we talk about how there are certain divisional games or championship games that are like, no, this is the Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way. The winner of that game is going to win the Super Bowl. So if the Chiefs move on, I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. The only team I think that they can maybe beat them is probably the Rams.
Probably, and I mean, dude, as a Bengals fan,
I don't want to count out the Bengals.
I'm fucking scared if I'm honest.
I'll say that about Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow. He's unbelievable. But
Jamar
is incredible.
Give Jamar some fucking credit here.
He's incredible. Even Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins are great.
He's been fantastic. Evan's been great. Solid
safety blanket.
Zoma's been, it's a great little core they got in there. Dude, Mix and his Mix's touchdown that gave them 16 points.
Yeah.
Just sent me over the edge. I was like, okay, we're going somewhere.
The only reason I don't think the Bengals can beat the Chiefs is because no matter how good Joe Burrow is, I look at what Josh Allen just did, and he couldn't beat them.
Right.
It's hard for anybody to do more than what Josh Allen just did.
I mean, it doesn't help that Joe doesn't have an offensive line.
Yeah.
But the Bengals have never had an offensive line in my lifetime.
That's the good thing for the Bengals going into the offseason and into the draft. That's really about the only thing you need to address.
Dude, literally, draft 5 offensive linemen. Doesn't matter. Just get 5 offensive linemen with your picks, and we're set.
Maybe even more. If you have 7 draft picks, use all of them on linemen.
Seriously. It's just like
you figure out the offensive line, dude. I mean, that the Bengals are going to win a Super Bowl or 2, maybe even more with Joe Burrow.
Oh, absolutely. Like literally, like Joe and Jamar recreated the LSU connection, and it's just beautiful to watch.
And the other thing to look forward to is the fact that Joe Burrow has never played poorly in a big game in his life.
Right.
Every big game he played at LSU, every big game that he's played in the NFL, he's won. So,
well, fingers crossed, 2-Day Nation. Let's go. Okay, I do want to address this just to end it because you are a Browns fan.
Sort of.
More or less.
I'm a Bears fan. I live, I'm from Cleveland, so I want them to do well.
Yes.
I'll root for the Browns, but I don't consider myself necessarily Browns fan. But
the section of Browns fans that are completely just total anti-Bengals right now, I don't get.
Here's what I'll say. I'm going to be rooting for the Bengals this weekend against the Chiefs because I can't stand the Chiefs. What I don't want to see are any Browns fans wearing Bengals shit. If you want to silently root for them in your room because you don't like the Chiefs or you don't like the Titans this past weekend, whatever, I get it. But I'm not trying to see any Browns fans out there wearing any Bengals shit. You know what I mean? Same way, I'm sure you wouldn't want to see like any like Bengals fans wearing Brown shit. You know what I mean?
I mean, my brother Seth and I are the only Bengals fans in a house full of Browns fans. So it's like I got to deal with my mom and Sammy and Josh screaming and crying over. Like Christmas was weird.
Yeah.
Christmas was really, really weird.
Yeah, I believe it. It's like there's nothing wrong inherently with rooting for someone who's your rival if you hate someone more. Like, as a Bears fan, if the Vikings were to play the Packers in the playoffs, well, I hate both of them, but I'd much rather the Vikings win than the Packers win.
Because the Packers one is more historic and yeah.
Well, it's a bigger rivalry, and I can't stand the Packers just in general.
Fair.
I would much rather root for the Vikings that weekend.
Yeah, I would rather.
But if I see a Bears fan wearing a Viking shirt, I might punch him in the face.
The only thing that my mom and I can ever really agree on when it comes to football is
fuck the Steelers.
Fuck the Steelers. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ravens were kind of indifferent on just because they're just kind of there at this point.
Yeah, the Browns and Steelers definitely have more of a rivalry with the Ravens than the Bengals do. I would say.
So, yeah. So it's just like the only thing that we could ever really agree on is fuck Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
And that's probably the only thing you and I can agree on.
Well, again, like I said, I don't hate the Bengals. I really don't.
Fair enough.
It helps that I like Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow.
Oh, yeah. Joey franchise, baby.
He's unbelievable.
He's fantastic. And give some credit to Zach. Give some credit to Zach Taylor.
Yeah,
it's like
he deserves a lot of credit. I think he surprised a lot of folks. He definitely surprised me.
He surprised me.
I never want to say that I thought he was a bad coach. I just didn't think that he was ever really going to be given a fair shot because his first year in Cincinnati, you had the bad offensive line. You didn't really have much to work with. It was just Andy Dalton. You had a bad record, and then you draft Joe Burrow, and you cut Andy Dalton. You still don't have a lot to work with there. Then Joe tears his ACL.
Right, and you couldn't do much with Allen, and
Yeah, well, of course not. He's incredibly limited. So I always had the impression that this year is going to be like another rebuilding year. You're going to get a little bit closer, but then you're going to replace him with another coach who's going to progress you even further after.
Right.
And that was my anticipation. Was he's not a bad coach, but he's not the coach that's going to take you over the hump. So you're maybe going to.
He's not like a Matt LaFleur type coach or a Bill Belichick, but
he's done the job.
Yeah. And
he's a lot better of a coach than I thought. I didn't think he was a bad coach, but he's definitely a lot better of a coach than I thought he was.
Can I just say it's also nice that Mike Brown is finally like investing in winning football instead of just saving money? Like that helps.
Because the other thing I notice about him is like he doesn't do anything that's like groundbreaking as a coach, but like he doesn't. I've never watched a Bengals game and been like, man, this guy makes some frustrating decisions with clock management or any other like in-game.
He makes a couple here and there.
Which I mean is normal for a coach, but like it's nothing ever too like totally aggravating where I'm like, that's just plain stupid. Like
nothing egregious, no.
You know what I mean? It's never anything egregious. Like he's pretty good with that shit too. So
yeah,
good for him. I mean, look, you found your quarterback, you found some good weapons, you found your coach.
You literally have like one of the best 1-2 punches in the league with the LSU connection. Like
just get an offensive line and you're kind of set for the next decade.
Pretty much. And let's hope the Jackets rebuild goes just as smoothly.
Yeah.
Tie it back to hockey, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to with the Jackets rebuild.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it.
Kent, Corson, the Russians, Cole.
Yep.
Elvis.
Igor. Absolutely.
It's just, we got to get there.
Yeah, I think they can do it.
Game tomorrow.
Yarmo we trust.
In Yarmo we trust. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on Saturday.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.